That LeBlanc that you see so far up the ban list. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be the Ezreal taken away from Bang. SKT will see whether they stay on that 80 carry hype train with the possible Ashe being taken away very quickly, or whether they get rid of the Camille, something like that, and that is going to be the one that is removed.
It feels like Camille is perhaps the only champion that's retained must-ban status.
Yeah.
Varus is making it through, LeBlanc is making it through. Even Malzahar has been making it through as well, so feels like the must-ban
really
list.
far through as well is Malzahar. I don't believe we've even seen one tonight.
Rengar and Graves seem to be the ones that need to be there, and the Malzahar will be banned on the blue side by Longzhu. Do not want to first pick it. They'd love to first pick Ashe if it was available.
Exactly.
But maybe forced into first picking something a bit more weird like a Lee Sin, though, depending on where the bans go. We'll check in just a moment as Talia, one of the few blind pickable mid laners, is banned away. Bly's been a quintessential Talia player this season, so respect ban to him.
Very good on those sort of roaming mid laners as well that do want to exit, get themselves into
You said roaming mid laner, and I just want to see that Aurelion Soul. That's all I want.
So bad.
I shouldn't ask for more things. We've had an amazing night of games, but an Aurelion Soul would certainly cap it off as, yep, they don't want to first pick the Lee Sin.
I like that, though, because Lee Sin is a really good tool to use against an Ashe, just given her, you know, want to control a team fight.
But it's also
can
Peanut.
Mix that one up.
You know, Peanut is
true.
a fantastic Lee Sin. They didn't want to first pick it. Will they first pick Graves or Ashe is now the question Longzhu have to decide.
Yeah, Graves, Ashe, or even Shen. Xpeke was fantastic on that champion as well. Not a whole lot of answers to it.
It's Graves or Ashe. To me, those are the first picks that they'll consider. Remember, Ezreal's gone, so when you talk about competition for Ashe, kind of has to be new school picks, like, for example, the Lucian that we saw in Series 1.
Oh my goodness, imagine if we got the Prey Lucian as well after that performance. But Prophet, well, look, 50% of his champions, I mean, this is certainly one of them. Does make some sense. Gonna lock it away.
Nautilus still available as a compositional answer, if not a laning answer, to the Rumble, but pushing top lane is almost assuredly picked up for SKT, barring Xpeke getting really deep in that bag of tricks. You know, he's been a pro player for a long time. You know he's got something pocket.
Does he want to play the cannon, you know? Can pick that one up, try and actually dominate that lane, but not going to be able to offer as much as far as team utility as he did in game number 1. And Peanut looking to try and get some redemption on the Elise maybe, but no, it's going to be the Lucian locked in for Bang.
Very early Lucian, and Lucian Lulu potentially finally could see that on the side of SKT. Longzhu of that sweet Ashe, didn't expect that to make it through.
Do they pick Ashe Lulu here and deny that Lulucian combination?
I don't know if denial on the Lulucian full combination is necessarily strong, but Gorilla has been good at Lulu. You could understand Lulu be taken even just for power. No supports banned away except for the Malzahar. So Ashe is taken in. Do they just take a support here, or do they take Nautilus? Because Nautilus is probably going to be banned in the second round if they take Lulu. But they'll, at least for now, be considering it.
Yep, looking at it. And that's going to be locked away. You have to think that that's going to be going over to Gorilla. Faker going to be hovering some Riven, just as a bit of a shout out to the fans. Would be awesome if he just locked it in.
He's not much of a hoverer. It's worth noting.
Yeah, this is the thing.
So now you really start being like, wait.
Hang on. Do we need to ban Riven? Does it need to happen?
You never know with Faker, but seems unlikely for this game.
If Huni was still on the roster for this game,
flex,
then I would. Terrifying.
Kha'Zix will be taken here for Peanut.
So a lot of damage coming out of the jungle for both teams.
Definitely some snowball stuff going on here. You get some early kills on one of these tank top laners. They can't even enter lane. They'll be pushed and dived. So we're waiting to see where Xpeke wants to go in top.
I'd like to see him pick up a tank.
Fizzban is interesting. So where this comes from is that if you look at Prophet's solo queue, he's been playing a lot of Trinity Force Fizz after the Fizz rework. Actually helps the on-hit build a little bit more. He actually crushes Rumble in the 1v1. So it's actually Prophet having his own tech banned here just because he thinks that Xpeke could certainly play it as well. So Fizzban is a top lane Fizzban, to be clear.
Okay, cool. Nautilus, like you mentioned, is going to be the secondary one, so focus on the top lane here. Xpeke's champion pool getting pressured just a little bit. Does still have a lot of more options.
But Xpeke, just like Prey, can reach into 2012, 2013 and bring out the crazy.
Xpeke's been playing for a heck of a long time, so he can definitely grab whatever he wants.
So it could just be the Shen or Maokai or Gragas, you know, the more boring side of things, or it could be something like the Fizz, you know, a little bit left of center to deal with. His talent
pick
going
up
to be
a
banned.
Fiora. something like that.
AD bans are very smart because, of course, they have Rumble already. So Rumble Elise, if it had been gone, but it's Rumble Kha'Zix, so they can kind of go physical or magic damage. But Talon's been blind picked a lot for SKT.
And Wolf once again going to go towards this Nami. Fly locks in the rise. Still very happy to grab that one. And there's the top lane Echo. Potentially.
We saw top lane Echo yesterday, and it didn't look great. We've seen top lane Echo recently, hasn't looked great. That was Tank Echo. That was from Roach. Might have been end of last week or yesterday, I forget, but it was one of the Gangnam Studio games. Didn't look fantastic. It's actually pretty good into Rumble, so laning-wise it's fine. But will it be AP Echo is kind of the question I have here. Is the Xpeke, will he go for the damage side or not? Now, Cassiopeia is available and always has had that famously good matchup into the Rise, so it will just be Cassiopeia from Faker.
But do Longzhu mix it up? You know that I'm a massive fan of flex picks. Xpeke has played Rise in the past.
It's not going to be Echo mid. Echo mid's actually pretty bad against Cassiopeia in general.
Unfortunate.
If it was Syndra, then you could have understood it, but the Rise top days, no longer around.
Sad times. But very exciting to see, and I do like what you mentioned about, you know, the potential of an AP Echo top. Won't be the tanky option.
It's been nerfed so many times. It still gets played because it still has a good laning phase. It still can split push, but I just feel like the things that top lane Echo does well is lane well against Rumble, and literally almost everything else is so weak compared to the other pool of top laners that even with the bans, I don't think it justifies being picked, but it still could be Proto Belt into Sunfire Cape or just a pure tank. We'll wait and see. The jury's out on where we go with the Echo build.
Yeah, I like pseudo tank. Yeah, pseudo tank's a cool idea for Echo as well. But I mean, the general build, if you're going mid lane AP, is going to be that Proto Belt into the Lich Bane anyway. So you're still going to have a little bit of health. But this is going to be an exciting matchup. Whether Bang can
game plan's the same.
Get those skates back out.
1-3-1.
Yep.
Get those turrets. Put Ashe in the mid lane to wave clear. Cassiopeia having to rotate second, just like the Orianna, is going to be a bit frustrated. So game plan doesn't train for Longzhu. SKT got the counter pick. Gotta trust in Faker, but this could be Longzhu with a big statement series if they could win.
We'll see whether they can do it as we hop onto the Rift for game number 2 between SKT and Longzhu Gaming.
환영합니다.
Still split, but welcome to the Rift, OGN Legion. Longzhu looking to try and finish things off. There's an Angry Dragon.
There's a Dragon and an XD. So, Dragon seems pretty stoked, honestly, and I think the Dragon's fans should be very happy. Longzhu Gaming played really well in Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even SKT, sure, they made uncharacteristic mistakes in the early game, but the early game's never been their strong suit, and closing against SKT is something very few teams worldwide have been able to do, so Longzhu will feel good about that, but we get to see Bang back on Lucian. We had some fans that have come over from Canada, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. They probably are SKT fans. Most people are.
They were riding in a red pen.
SKT
so
are basically the Manchester United of League of Legends. Everyone's a fan.
Yep.
Except for people that really hate them.
I was about to make a really colloquial Australian Melbourne reference there. I'm just not going to.
Collingwood's
going to get it. Yep, so that's what it was going to be.
Remember, we're in a good time zone for Australia, so our Australian brethrens are out there too.
You just don't want to talk about Collingwood supporters.
No.
Even Collingwood supporters hate Collingwood supporters. As Crash's going to start on his Wraith camp.
As all the Americans are up at 5 a.m. like, OCE
no.
casters.
Stupid OCE casters again. Talking about Collingwood all the time. Flying Faker. Just trading where they can. Great. Moves out of the way of the Piercing Light. Bang was trying to weave that one through the minions. Peanut
level 2 gank.
Yeah, very early on to Fly. Oh, will have the flash available, but decides not to commit to it.
I think
Fly
Faker
gets himself away.
I thought he was 1 minion short, but he's actually 2 minions short. If he was hitting 2 and put the miasma down, that's a kill actually onto the Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
But didn't quite have it. I don't know if that was communication or just Peanut not wanting to slow down his jungle path any further, but do we get the flash out of Fly, so still happy.
Yeah, definitely fantastic as Prophet's going to overheat. A lot of damage here onto Xpeke, who moves himself out of the way. Still just going to chug down on that potion. Still has an extra one available. Prophet with a couple as well. Not going for that Amp Tome, you know, balls to the wall start that we have seen earlier today. Just the Ruby Crystal. Crash is going to make his way in. We'll see whether he can actually get anything down on
well,
a
we
Prophet.
know what he's going to do.
Yeah, good move here to get away from that ward.
Level 2 only for Xpeke.
And there it is. The phase dive lands on top. Prophet is going to have to flash. End of the line. Fair bit of damage there as well, as Peanut not healthy enough to help out, nor close enough at all. Good pressure to be added here to Xpeke.
You know, it feels like both kind of questionable lanes have kind of had their assistance. So
yeah,
Cassiopeia already pretty happy against the Rise. Now she has a flash advantage.
Oh dear. Fly misses the Q. Good Rune Prison to disengage from Faker.
And even though the first trade went well for the Rumble, flash advantage now over to Xpeke. So both these pseudo-counter lanes are in a decent spot to fight.
Yeah, Wolf was going for the potential of the triple tap ebb and flow.
It's like a double rainbow. You don't see it often.
You don't.
Man, you enjoy
Beautiful
it.
thing is Xpeke has taken the bait here. Peanut's going to turn up. A lot of damage, but takes the turret shot. Knows that he's not tanky enough. And that is flash down for Xpeke as well. Yeah. Some low health bars. Prophet only on about 300. Crash realizes that can't contend with the minion wave and 2 members of SKT.
Raze will just return to his jungle. They're waiting to see if there was counter jungling happening at the Krugs. That's why Prophet and Peanut went as a duo, because they knew the wraparound was likely from Graves, and he could have just been killing Krugs and eventually getting to top without the minion waves are crashing. But in that case, it was so much more defensive play from the Graves.
This is interesting as well from Prophet. Actually goes back, grabs himself a door and shield for a little bit of early game survivability. Would have been able to afford the Amp Tome if he wanted to, but not trying to get to that, you know, as quick as possible haunting guys. I like it, respecting Xpeke and what he can do on this Echo.
And we're just getting closer and closer that it's Grasp, level 4, soon to be level 6 Echo. You're probably not going to kill him, so the Amp Tome's probably not going to be enough. Also, with the way the camps are at, Kazak's not going to be top naturally in the next few seconds, so in general, I think it's a smart buy.
It was an interesting move from Crash just then. Just walks up to Faker, gets poisoned and shot in the face with a Twin Fang and says, well, I'm just going to continue wandering back. And hi, Faker. Nice to meet you. I'm never going to be back here again.
See, it wasn't just completely silly, though. He just wanted to stop the lane from being pushed in or frozen by Faker. So he basically gave up half his health or recall for some lane control. Still ends up being pretty well frozen for Faker, as you can see.
Yep. Looking to try and take this ward down, does so. Nice range on that control ward. Gives SKT complete control of this bottom side. First dragon's going to be a mountain. See when either of these teams decide to go for it. Just Fly, fair bit of wave clear now. Has his tier stacking. We'll have that catalyst relatively soon.
That's it. Yeah.
Nailed it. Perfect.
We've had so much crazy bombastic things to celebrate tonight that why can't we enjoy a nice little last hit, you know?
Oh, I always enjoy a cannon creep getting taken. I haven't been triggered once tonight, and I'm often triggered. See, look, once again, every single time. I'm lured into a false sense of security when it comes to cannon creeps being last hit perfectly.
Is bang and pray, so
exactly.
You'd be concerned if there were too many cannon creeps going amiss.
Mm-hmm. Well, Fly throws down that flux. This back wave of minions is going to fall very easily. You can see both of these champions, no worries as far as clearing out a minion wave. So his mid turret's going to be healthy for quite some time. Prophet going to overheat. The scrap shield going to help keep him healthy in these trades. 50 to 44 as far as top lane farm. So nowhere near the lead that Xpeke had in game number 1.
But it's still a lane that's competitive against Rumble, and you see that people have to get pretty creative to get there. If you go for, you know, with Nautilus banned, and Nautilus not great, you know, you lose 20, 30 CS, but at least your Nautilus can show up in fights. At least if you get ganks, you can turn and assist a gank very well. He's getting walked up to by Bang.
Yeah, good polymorph there from Gorilla, though. Make sure that Bang can't continue that trade. There's the drone being thrown out by Prey.
If any of you solo queue players are wondering where the skill orders are for Lulu's supports, it's usually 3 points into shield, into maxing the polymorph Whimsy W.
Yep. No longer the days of Glitterlands.
It's got nerfed so much. Now that doesn't even push very well. It's, I think in the past, and max W, whether it's the Whimsy or the 2.25 second polymorph, it's actually, You want to just max polymorph straight up, but you need the 3 points in E for laning phase, same as Q for the Karma, so that's where it's at right now.
Oh, Faker getting a lot of damage here, movement speed from that Noxious Blast helping out as well. But Fly doing okay as far as health bar is concerned. We're going to eat through the last of his potions though. Crash heading down here towards the bottom side. Bang's going to move forward. There's a relentless pursuit, but Arrow fortunately misses. Not exactly the prey way of life as the Culling's fully tanked by this Ashe. Wolf's going to get him out of this lane.
Feels like every time an Ashe arrow is shot out, someone complains about hitbox. I'm sure Prey's like, what? Come on.
Lag.
That was like 0.25 of a Teemo away from Nami. Didn't register this time.
Something spaghetti code.
I want to come back again to what Crash was able to do. Because remember, he walked up, tanked the minion wave, helped push it, and then had to back. Faker hasn't got a tier. Faker hasn't been able to back.
Hey, true.
And this is, Cassiopeia Rise. Everybody just chills and goes back straight away to get their tier. So when it comes to scaling-wise, the first item buy here from Faker is going to be really interesting because it's looking like a 10-minute tier, which, sure, Cassiopeia will do it quickly, but it's all relative, right? We're talking about 4 to 5 minutes, potentially, but minimum 3 minutes shaved away from the transformation.
Prey's use of the hawk shot as well is silly. He always just seems to find out exactly what he needs to find out every time he throws out that button.
You'll learn that Prey's pretty good.
I know he's pretty good, but it bothers me that he's that good. Because I just don't understand how.
I mean, the fun thing is that, it's Bang, Deft, Prey, right? Those are the three names always among time. They're all very different. They all have different skills, they have different strengths. They might have communal champions like the Ezreal, but I think Bang and Prey are very different AD carries, and then Deft also, is that teamfight monster in the late game, but does have some poor decision-making in early to mid from time to time. So it's fun that they have different strengths, even though they're all consensus, these wonderful players.
Yeah. In fact, the AD carry role is very spread on why the best AD carries are the best.
Yeah, Prey and Bang, they love Jhin. Deft didn't really play Jhin, wasn't fantastic at it. When Kalista comes back, all three of them are Kalista players.
But Deft wasn't, historically. Of course, really struggled to pick that one up.
When it's Kog'Maw, you've got Prey and Deft for sure. Not like Bang is a slouch, but...
And then you've got players like Imp and Uzi as well that are different beasts entirely. It's an interesting role for that reason.
And then we have Faker.
And then you've got Faker.
Who's the best at everything.
Faker. Yeah, exactly. It's like, have you played competitive Pokemon ever?
I have not.
There is a Pokemon band. His name's Arceus.
He's got a funny name.
He does. It's a god's name. And he's banned from every single meta of the game.
It's too good.
It's just flat out too good. Not sure whether that's the case now. It definitely was in the past when I used to play.
Well, I will come to you for my Pokemon competitive blasts in the future.
Yes. Just to make sure that they're relevant to 2012. As Prey's going to get caught out. Good flash and doesn't get hit by any of the skill shots. There's the arrow. Wolf takes it to the face, but both teleports cancelled. Longzhu not going to lose anyone. No first blood to go down just yet. Only 500 gold to lead here for SKT based on laning phase alone. Xpeke not going to be able to find the stun, but Crash is going to turn up. Prophet cutting this one out nicely, moving in the right directions.
Let's as much as damage as possible because they know that Rise is coming too.
Remember, there's an ultimate from Xpeke as well as Crash maybe didn't need to tank up the turret that much. Flash has to come through. Oh, guesses the wrong direction. Does Prophet. Wow, that was a big gamble as well. I mean, I would have thought that if Crash wanted to juke, he would have walked that direction. Thankfully, decides not to.
Prophet doesn't fall. He draws a lot of resources, doesn't die. And now Peanut.
Oh, Xpeke in trouble. There's the phase dive, the flash forward. Fly turns up, but a bit too late. And that is going to be first blood going to Peanut. 1 versus 1. Flash has to be used as Faker comes round. Fly, there's the flash forward. Faker so much damage, immediate cleanse. And he's going to try and chase this one down, but doesn't land the second poison. A lot of damage here from Fly and makes it underneath his turret. Beautifully played from this Rise.
That was some nice dancing from Fly. Like you said, he's going to face check though.
Oops. This is very dangerous. Peanut seems to be cleaning up everything.
He's going for a turnaround. We're still fighting. Yeah.
Leap not available. Miasma comes through as well. And my goodness, all of these players playing with fire.
That was a 3-minute skirmish that started in top lane with cancelled teleports. In fact, started in bot lane before the teleports were drawn and forced to be cancelled. Insane stuff. SKT slightly ahead from all of it, picking up the first blood onto Peanut, getting the snowball and the confidence into their Kha'Zix, but man, the action. Don't have to wish for it. It's right here.
Exactly. Both of these teams more than willing to go in. And look, these compositions that don't have dedicated tanks, it makes sense. I mean, it's going to be more bloodthirsty, more action happening in order to make these compositions work. Looking forward to seeing what both teams can actually do to solidify this, because Prophet now hitting level 9, moving ever closer towards that level 11 mark where that equalizer will be doing so much damage.
Yeah, being forced to cancel teleport, at least the Echo forcing a reaction teleport from Prophet that was cancelled, is a small win for Echo. You might think, okay, why? They're just trading teleports, but when Echo teleports into a side lane where the turrets are still up, he does really nothing. If you think about it, he has to land and then prime a stun for 2.5 seconds, compared to Equalizer that, of course, paints the town with blood. So even just canceling out the Rumble's teleport advantage is a micro win for Longzhu. And if it's SKT versus Kongdu Monster, we don't talk about micro wins. But when Longzhu's one game up, you have to even look at things like that. And that's still a preferential trade for Longzhu, even if it seems like such a slight one.
Yeah. Session here as well, still doing okay up on this top side of the map, but
I'm not really sure where he's going with the build.
Nicely, yeah.
It could be Iceborne Gauntlet Spirit Visage. It could be Lichbane from here. It's very hard to know. And a guest tank, but it's not for sure. His Prophet's going to get...
Yeah, good stun comes in, yeah. Z-Drive Resonance helping out there as well with some extra damage. Sorry, because we're the Aussie cast, we should probably be calling it Z-Drive Resonance.
We don't want to anger our North American overlords out.
Hey, that's a good plan. I apologize.
As long as we don't say H, I think we're okay.
Definitely not.
No H2Ks.
Oh, goodness, man. No thanks.
What is the split on that? Because I know that even Australians are kind of split in terms of what percentage of Australians will say H.
Oh no, only the silly ones say H.
What would you guess?
It's
like, it's probably
wrong.
Like 70-30, right?
Yeah, too many. Too many say H, and that's a number above 0.
You feel very strong. Is this your?
I do.
Is this your pineapple on
this is
pizza
one of
moment?
Peeves. Yeah. And I'm actually look. I don't mind about pineapple on pizza. I ain't worried about that. People can eat that if they want to. Just don't say pineapple.
You know, I think you might get your wish.
Yeah.
We can ratify that one.
There's
Approved.
actually no H in pineapple, so we're absolutely fine. But Hawaiian. If you're gonna spell me Hawaiian, I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, looking like tank, still Echo, but at least getting the laning phase he wants. That was why you picked the pick, to not be pushed in. And if he's just pushing, then the Echo's relatively happy.
Dives over with the blast cone and then just dashes over with the phase dive. Nicely done.
You have to remember that just like with things like Protobelt, just because adding extra things to get you over walls exists doesn't actually help immobile characters. It gives flashy characters even more dashes.
Yeah, more flashy for the flashies.
Flashy dashies.
It was like when Protobelt came out, I was like, oh, this makes Mordekaiser relevant again. But no, it just makes characters that wanted to move more even
That's
more.
why I said Sakari.
Yeah.
The perfect Protobelt user.
Oh, yes.
Or Vladimir with Ghost Flash.
Well, it does actually help Vladimir in that same way, but Mordekaiser just didn't benefit. Bothers me.
You and your Mordekaiser love. Go cast NALCS. They've got Mordekaisers in the bot lane.
What do you mean, still?
Yeah.
He's not a bot lane, he's a mid laner now.
You can tell Oltec. Oltec seemed pretty keen on it.
Actually, I've met Oltec, okay. He's allowed to do it. Guy's very good player.
Seal of approval.
Yep. Have that one.
Well, Bang got a really fast play, the Ruin King, and we can see just still piecing together the Essence Reaver on the side of Prey.
Only 400 gold to go. Feels bad.
Could also just be a shopping timing as well.
Yeah. Not too worried though. Doesn't have a lot of extra crit, so that extra cooldown reduction you're going to get from that combine of the Essence Reaver is not high. So
because the early game has gone a bit more cleaner for SKT. They're the ones stealing away Raptors. They're the ones with the pressure on the map. We didn't see this SKT in game 1.
And there's no problem areas of the map as well. I mean, last time it was Longzhu forcing SKT to make moves because if they left Huni in a lane with Xpeke, things were going to go bad. But now SKT can feel free to do whatever they want. And at the moment, that is just calmly play the game. As Arrow's going to fly forward, but going to miss once again. Close. But no cigar, although there is, just not there.
Nope.
Thank goodness.
No big teleport plays. Harder to make happen. You know, the standard Nautilus teleports behind a turret, take the turret play. Because remember, Longzhu's still running 1-3-1, still want the map to be played in side lanes, but with no turrets on the board, it's still farming phase for them. They're just going to keep looking for Ash Arrows until they can finally break one of these side lane turrets. That's the big win condition for Longzhu. It's starting the 1-3-1 as Bang wants to punish Prey for staying.
Yeah, it takes a culling, but not too much damage. Of course, Blade of the Ruin King is no BF sword item when it comes to doing lots of culling damage. More focusing on that light slinger.
Still 40 AD now, you know, with the change from
well,
25,
true.
so they're still there, but you're right. It doesn't triple dip like it did once upon a time because the culling doesn't scale with attack speed anymore.
Which was busted.
Illusion's been busted many times.
Yeah. That being said, cooldown on...
Speaking of Illusion being busted...
Oh my goodness, yeah, heal has to come out. Whimsy a little bit late there from Gorilla. Bang demonstrating exactly what he can do with this champion. Prey probably saying, I could do that too, damn it.
But he's playing Ashe, so we're happy.
Yeah, we're still happy. A-okay. Can only do that, of course, when the arrow is off cooldown. Now currently available once again. Faker's moving around, wants to start getting something done. Crash gonna quick draw his
Him
way
actually
over the
being
wall.
there might actually relieve pressure from Echo, who was looking like he would be turret dive for sure. Still maybe. Yep.
Yeah. Gonna take one tick of the equalizer and is now just gonna try and get the heck out of there. Good ultimate. But that's another one from Faker. Xpeke flashes. There's the flash from Prophet, who's still tanking up the turret. Crash moves his way out. Is anyone going to come over here to try and help out? Prophet dies. And that is going to be Prey falling, Bang, sorry, falling on the bottom side of the map. Faker now kiting around. Crash is going to die, but that's 2 kills on the bottom side of the map. What the heck happened? We got to see this replay. Because this is, what, a trade in favor of Longzhu.
Yeah, what Longzhu did there was they actually had Ryze enter bot lane. It was a 3v2 and they took out both members. Obviously, we didn't see the action. Wait for a replay on that. Xpeke teleported just to draw out cooldowns and was always going to ult. So it was actually really tricky from him. Uses teleport, but given how the fight went,
that was so
got stunned.
close
But
to
here's
not
the
getting
meanwhile. As, you know, Prey and Gorilla are trading. There's a big HP advantage. And look at it, Gorilla man-moding into the front line. And still the slow, buying enough time. That was a sick 3v2.
Yeah.
And Prey and Gorilla specifically playing to the limits of the Lulu.
And that is the Gorilla that we've ordered all split long, Papa Smithy. Exactly the type of plays that we want to make. The flash double knocker.
That's why I hate the standard lane meta, because there's nothing more that I want than Gorilla on Alistar roaming around the map. But unfortunately in standard lanes, you have to pick the laning champ. It's karma, you know.
Yeah,
Lulu to some degree.
I mean, what is that? That's like a flash polv, man.
That's bonus.
Exactly what he did.
That's cherry on top, baby. That's what we wanted.
Well, now Prey, with his Essence Reaver done, almost has his Hurricane completed as well. So that's the 2 items that he's been looking for. No Phage yet from Bang, but will have that Black Cleaver soon.
I mean, just a little comment like that reminds me that, you know, when the meta changes, and we do get things like that, there's always things to look forward to, right? Sometimes, like this guy's champion was in the right place. Love watching him on those champions, but things change. But if it brings back roaming support, we'll get to see more people like Gorilla. It's kind of the fun thing. It's a big circle, right? As one thing gets stronger, something else is getting weaker, etc., etc.
There'll always be someone that's super fun based on where the patch is.
There's always someone that's OP.
Yeah.
So it just has to be, by process of elimination.
Well, Fly not going to take that Noxious Blast, and Faker's going to defend his turret for the moment, but it's taken a lot of damage. Fly really making use of that time that Faker spent towards the top side of the map. That's a big slow on that empowered W coming out of Peanut.
Void spikes.
The Void spikes. I always get worried saying that, though, because Void spikes and Vorpal spikes is so similar.
Yeah, because you're talking about Vorpal spikes all the time on
I'm
Cho'Gath.
always talking about Cho'Gath's abilities, man.
Not for your job.
He's recently been buffed. I'm waiting for the
He's
Cho'Gath
recently
to
been
come back.
reworked. No one will play. I actually asked Hooney, and he was like, nope.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Sad times.
Well, I mean, the one kind of problem here for Longzhu is that we are getting closer and closer to Xpeke only being able to split push. He's going Trinity Force to answer our previous questions, which will be good for split pushing, but team fight for that Echo has always been a big question mark.
Flies like Crash, why aren't you auto-attacking this turret? I don't do any damage. This Parallel Convergence is coming in. Xpeke can get a potential stun, but not anymore. Fantastic equalizer as Peanut cleans up another one. Actually goes to Prophet. Xpeke gets himself in with the ultimate. Arrow lands onto Faker, and that's going to save his life. But Fly had already fallen down as Prey and Bang now battling this one out. The culling clears out the minions. He can't go fast enough. The walls there as well.
No, he's going to get there first. He needs to go all in now, Prey, or he's dead.
Makes his way to the brush. This is a big deal. Minions are going to be there. That's going to stop Prey from moving forward, and that was so close.
And you get a treat like that. 1v1 between Prey and Bang, always a highlighter. Speaking of 1v1s, Peanut thought it better after the teleport comes through.
Xpeke's going to come in, but that's going to be a dead turret regardless.
You know, I'm always remain to be convinced about the Echo, and I have a feeling that's going to be the big problem here. Valongdra got them lane pressure, but was that enough? Is kind of the question we'll keep revisiting.
And really, in the end, what kind of lane pressure, honestly? Because Prophet's still ahead by almost 30 CS.
Well, if you ask the question of who wins the most from Echo being drafted in the early game, it's Crash, because he'll actually have
that's
more
true.
breathing room. And we said Crash was the barometer, but is it worth this big an investment? Is it worth not just going for, say, Gragas, where you're still having a bad time, but you have a bit more pushing?
And you're a bit more relevant come later stages.
But again,
well.
I mean, we're talking like percentages, right?
Yeah.
It's like 20% versus 40%, but still. Rumble forces really warped champion pools because of how strong he is in the laning phase, and I don't know if the investment in Echo and Crash being able to farm was enough. Maybe we'll find out later, but if it's allowed to split push and 4v5 as long as you can do things, then obviously Echo will be very important in the game.
Well, hopefully he can get to that point. Xpeke was pivotal in the last game. Hopefully he can make his way back to that this time around. Xpeke's going to spot that control ward, but not going to opt into taking it down. Parallel convergence to zone away Prophet.
At least you can say, every time Prophet teleports and gets nothing, Xpeke's going to get a turret. So
yeah,
that's at least something you can talk about, but Prophet
Power
has been
Spike
wonderful
has
in
come
that
in
Rumble.
with that Trinity Force as well, so maybe things will change as he is zoning Prophet away from this turret. Prophet with a lot of vision as well around the area.
That was more about going back to potentially look for a teleport, I think, rather than necessarily being afraid in any way, as you can see, of the Echo.
God. Harpoon starting to do a lot of work with that Leandro's Torment already there. Fly's going to move
Not
his way
spotted
up.
yet.
Realm Warp's going to get himself in there. Parallel Convergence coming in, but Prophet's actually just
flash.
fighting Expression. Okay. Throws down the ultimate. There's the flash from Fly. Good flash from Prophet, though, as the equalizer does go down. Expression gets his way out. Can Fly actually finish this one off? As Prophet's got the fancy feet, but not going to be enough. There's going to be Fly picking that one up. Faker, you saw him moving down towards the bottom side as there's Crash. Peanut uses the ultimate. Gorilla possibly in trouble. Wolf turns up, but no slow from those Void Spikes.
And you see the ping onto the turret. They need to make the turret work because the 2-for-1 in terms of flashes for just a single kill is not worth it if they're losing objectives across the map. But when you see so much time and members committed top lane, gives you the freedom to make these plays around the bot. So timed with no Drake, but still timed in a great time for SKT to keep the gold lead. They're about 3,500 gold ahead, and I won't be pushing this turret that quickly.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, we've got some massive item buys as well, especially from Faker, who does have that Archangels as well as the Merlin Omicron and the Rod of Ages completed. He's well and truly scaling his way up. Just then, Bang goes back, full Black Cleaver. There's the Quicksilver Sash as well.
But let's talk about his opposite number, because there's no tanks this game from SKT. There's not really any reason to be building a Blade of the Ruin King. So you see a movement to actually Phantom Dancer. He's expecting to be taking damage from, say, Peanut diving in the back line of a fight. Phantom Dancer, not the Hurricane. That's almost an auto buy on
I like that.
the Ashe. As a second time, it's going to be going for Infinity Edge or Bloodthirster, depending on how safe he feels in fights. So Prey, just like the best players, mixing up the builds to suit the situation.
Yeah, it does have the Warlord's Bloodlust as well this time around, so it doesn't necessarily need to focus on any form of lifesteal.
This is the new Warlord's Bloodlust, a bit different.
Yeah, a bit more let's move and shoot, move and shoot, move and shoot. But does still give you a lot of lifesteal.
Definitely a Kindred mastery, because it's all about, you know, being able to, in fights, her play pattern is to move a lot. And it feels like it's very much suited for her, and to some degree, AD carry if you play around it. But it's our first Warlord's Bloodlust, actually, of 7.5.
Updated Warlord's Bloodlust.
That movement speed, you know, if that gets you out of a flame spitter, because you get that little burst of speed, could be relevant as well.
Especially when it synergizes with the Phantom Dancer. I like it, given what Prey's decided to put together with his items. Item and mastery synergy gives me a lot of pleasure for Smithy, so I'm pretty happy.
Well, how do you feel about Kindle Gems? Because there's been a lot of them built.
Oh, big fan. Love me a Kindle Gem.
3 of them already built this game, although Bang has now finished the Black Cleaver. Kha'Zix's the main benefactor there, although it's double Black Cleaver, so it's more about the item power rather than necessarily the quick shred.
Yep. Both of them, of course, going to be helping one another, but not so much the rest of the team, as Prophet and Fake are going to be more about Prophet's Abyssal Scepter that he's already completed. Culling did fall down as Fly is going to just Realm Warp his way out. Doesn't want to go up against Prophet with all of his friends turning up. As Peanut has to leave his way out. He's going to do so. Doesn't have the upgraded
Infernal
wings just yet. Yeah, the Infernal Drake is going to come in. We'll see whether Longzhu actually decide that they want to fight this. Profits there. Doesn't have the equalizer, and that is a big deal. Not going to be taken. Okay, SKT grab themselves the third dragon of the game. And Xpeke should be able to take down this outer turret towards the top side of the map. So more a gold for potential late game trade. Longzhu want to do whatever they can to get themselves into a good position for a fight in the future.
I mean, if you think about it, if the Infernal Drake's the difference between the two teams, Longzhu still has Echo. So they've already kind of lost out if that's going to be the big factor between the two teams. So getting immediate gold is much more important to them than looking for a scaling Drake. They're probably not going to be in a position to take advantage of the scaling Drake in the late game when you get the most value out of Infernal. So, well, you never feel good about giving over an Infernal Drake. They're kind of trying to manage between different decent options, but no A+ option that they have access to.
Like the lesser of two evils, something like that, One of those. Pickaxe now done here for Prey, looking for that Infinity Edge as much as possible.
Zoning
arrow. Yep.
Nice zoning arrow.
Scouting arrow. Maybe thought that his W was in fact Arbor. Didn't, definitely. This is Prey. I'm pretty sure he knows what
But wave clear, wave clear, wave clear. Echo now pushing in Rumble at bot lane. So he's got the Spirit Visage. So can he ignore Rumble's damage and get Trinity Force procs off cooldown? That's kind of the... For once, I'd actually like to watch the bot lane / top lane matchup.
Yep.
But Lucian's actually going to come for a walk as well. And Xpeke's first thought to go aggressive, and here's Lucian.
Yeah, Parallel Convergence comes in. He's losing the fight anyway, though. Picks himself up the shield and is now looking to try and dance his way out. Red carpet's going to be followed as Xpeke just going to be able to bide as much time as he possibly can because the Baron has actually been started. Peanut's going to turn up. The rest of the 4 members of Longzhu are here. Teleport comes in, and Longzhu now feel like they're committed. Oh my goodness, the steal from Peanut! And this could be all over. Crash dashes his way out, a double kill instantly from Faker as he wipes the floor of the carries of Longzhu, and Peanut even able to take down Crash over to the side. Gorilla just has to get himself out. It was a cute play, but maybe a little bit too cute.
And that's what you can do with Echo. You can take map pressure and try to make a Baron play. And Longzhu looked at all the factors, the Infernal Drake, the Echo draft, and they said, we either make this Baron work or we probably lose anyway. They took the big gamble. The gamble doesn't pay off, and I think we're going to a third game, Atlas. Maybe not right now, but in the near future.
It's looking like it. 30 minutes in, first inhibitor's going to fall. SKT 5 turrets to 2. And now get themselves almost towards that 10,000 gold lead, which when SKT has this level of a lead, you just can't help but feel like things are moving towards over.
I mean, the moment that Longzhu kept DPSing it at 3,500, you knew they were going all in.
They were locked in, right?
And it was a really nice steal from Peanut. Not quite as heroic as his steal in the last series where he flashed over an arrow to steal, but same result. They get the Baron. Now the game is really over from the side of Longzhu. The ifs and buts are just cast to speak for. Please keep watching. The next series will be good, but right now this game is over.
Giving away our tactics, Papa Smitty. Culling flies through. Crash uses his collateral damage to get out of the way.
Oh, also wait clear.
Yeah, true. Massive respect though still given because it didn't kill a lot of minions.
Xpeke's like, well, I've got teleport. I'll just split push the Nexus, guys. Occupy them.
Yeah, guys, it'll be fine. I'll win the game for us. But Super Creeps, remember, still spilling into the mid lane. You can see Profits only helping that. His volley's not going to be enough. Wave clear. Fly can't close the distance to use his spells.
Very deep teleport.
Yeah, that's a big one. Xpeke wonders now
what
to do.
What he had, really.
Okay,
there were a couple of other ones where he would have died, and he's spotted now, so that's over. Split push Dream's dead. Longzhu 2-0 Dream, soon to die also.
Okay, you don't know that, man. Prey's actually going to get turned on, though. Good arrow onto Bang. That equalizer was fantastic. There's Gorilla, the first casualty. Tower falls down. Crash has to flash his way out. Fly's in trouble. He's going to get eliminated. And that's going to be the double coming out as Peanut is just wiping the floor with Longzhu. Now just doing laps of the Nexus as well, as Nexus turrets are going to fall. The 32-minute victory here for SKT as we go towards Game 3. And it's looking very similar to what we saw the first time around, but Longzhu still have an opportunity to change things moving into Game 3.
Yeah, Longzhu's draft, I think, really caught them in a really bad space. They were caught between a rock and a hard place. The moment that clearly Xpeke early identified Echo as a potential champion to play, because it didn't make sense. Why not Nautilus in the first round when they took Lulu? Lulu wasn't going to be the tipping factor in this game. It's just a strong, powerful support champion. They could have taken Nautilus, theoretically flexed it, had a decent, if not wonderful matchup against the Rumble, but they went all in. You could see the plan. Draw them bot lane, 2 people show up, take the Baron quickly, and if you're 3,000 gold ahead, maybe it works. Maybe you take it fast enough. This game wasn't that. They DPS down the Baron, stolen by Peanut. Any hope of a 2-0 victory was stolen away then, and we're going 6 on your first day, Atlas.
It's exactly what I wanted, Papa. I just wanted as much broadcast time as I could possibly get, and this is exactly what the dream represents, my friend. But SKT, it was a very, very clean win for game number 2. Longzhu showing us that, you know, there is still left in the tank what they were able to accomplish in game number 1. Can they just shore up that draft? Because I'm with you. I just don't feel like the Echo really was what they needed.
I mean, game 1, it took so many different axes to the heart to actually take out SKT. Game 2, all-in draft, all-in failed.
Yeah.
And what happens when you fail? You fold.
And it's
all
just
your
on your
money's
screen
gone.
right now. Coma just shows that he is an expert. Doesn't fold under pressure. They can lose game 1. Never really seems to be a problem here for SKT.
Well, it's gone blue side, sorry, red side both games. So game 3, let's see how it goes, because it's going to have to be a better draft from Longzhu to be able to hope to beat SKT Telecom T1.
Yeah. Hopefully we do get ourselves some Ash. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go to a break. When we come back, the final game of the night. Welcome back, OGN Legion, to our final game of the night. Firstly, we're going to have a look at what was Game 2 between SKT and Longzhu. SKT finally being able to pull that one out, and oh my god, the rumble damage.
See so much, whether it's Huni or Prophet, they are masters of the equalizer in particular. And the rumble pick forced Longzhu into this really edge meta echo that, as has been the way with recent tank echoes, haven't really impressed us. Only the mid lane echo has been really getting much done, so let's see who we do with the MVP. It's going to be Peanut picking up the MVP in this game. Had some good trades and some good early game pathing, especially as a contrast to Game 1, where his greed with Huni around the top lane turret really started to snowball for Longzhu. A lot better decision making and even a nice first blood to begin things up.
Yeah, that was what picked it up. Of course, Fly turning up a little bit too late. Peanut always seeming to be in the right place at the right time, which really got the ball rolling for SKT. Just showed how easy it is when you're a team this good that gets ahead in the early game. Always was able to get himself out.
Also, got the claims, right? Got the Baron steal or the Baron claim, depending on how you look at it, given that it was Longzhu. Really risking the biscuit, going for the Baron in the full vision of SKT.
Yeah, just slashing his isolated target there in Crash, as it was just all she wrote. And you can see Prophet as well, almost worthy of an MVP himself. With all of that damage, able to spread it out so far. There's the man on your screen right there, and Peanut looked like, you know, despite having a pretty eventful evening earlier on, was looking great.
Doesn't look like we're going to have any roster changes for Game 3. Predictably, Huni not brought in for Game 3 after the victory for Prophet.
Yeah, and especially the performance that Prophet had, of course. So having a look at the booth for SKT. But more smiles, especially on the face of Coma, and it's always scary to be the opposition team. There's a smile on the face of Coma.
So much heavy lifting for Longzhu to win Game 1, and then Game 2 was pretty smooth sailing relatively for SKT T1. Last game for all the marbles, SKT versus Longzhu. Longzhu desperately wanting to get to 10 match wins, really entrench themselves in the top 5 with a Freaka on the backside. Game so far has been going on the red side, so let's see if Longzhu...
Yeah, that's true. Red side victory every single time. So look, if we're going to look at that as the stat, then Longzhu should have this one in the bag. But as we hop into Champ Select, it is going to be Talia banned away first here for SKT, and the understandable Camille ban is going to be removed from Prophet, as that's a Fizz ban very early.